In November of 2023, the Swell Pod took a 10-day journey across 5 states, traveling 3,580 miles with one challenge in mind.
And that challenge was to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious humans to uncover deep truths about what it takes to create something that has never existed before, challenge the status quo, maybe even change the world.
This is the Kiln Road Trip, created and produced by the Swell Pod.
In partnership with Kiln, Moterra Camper Vans, and sponsored by Taurus.
I'm Spencer McKeown.
And I'm Josh Taylor, and together we're the co-hosts of the Swell Pod and your guides on the Kiln Road Trip. Follow along on the journey.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, follow the Swell Pod on social media, and subscribe to your YouTube channel at, you guessed it, the Swell Pod.
This is interview 66 of the Kiln Road Trip, and today we're at Kiln Meridian in Idaho talking with Amber Caro. Amber is the founder and CEO of Slicebright, a direct-to-consumer marketing and creative studio. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you enjoy.
My name is Amber Caro. I founded a company called Slicebright. And Slicebright is essentially a direct-to-consumer marketing agency that offers flexible and affordable solutions to growing e-commerce brands.
Is e-commerce brands in a specific niche, or?
We work a lot with consumer packaged goods, snacks, and food brands, but also the occasional household goods or electronics brand as well.
That's great. Why the name?
Honestly, we started a lot with working on, video and slicing up video, right, for TikTok or for, other platforms. And it just kind of came to us. We want to work with bright brands that are doing fun things in the space.
That's great. Why are you passionate about this area?
It's an industry that's growing a lot right now. During and after the pandemic, it really took off in terms of the number of, small families and just individual people that are creating something that they love and bringing it to market.
What about that is interesting to you?
It's so fun to speak with the founders of these brands and see their passion for the product and see that it fills a real need in the market, whether that be, a kids hair care brand or a food brand that doesn't exist. It's taking something that they are passionate about and bringing it to the world in a really unique way.
Interesting. I'm going to do something different here. What advice do you give your clients about creating something that never existed before?
You have to stand on your own 2 feet, right? You have to create something that has never existed before. You have to be bold and creative about it. You can't sound like every other brand out there. If you think there's something unique about your brand, chances are there are hundreds of thousands of other people that think that too, as long as you're bold enough to stand in your brand.
How do you do that?
Part of it's through creativity and the way you position your product, the voice of your brand and your messaging on your website and social media. And part of it is the type of brands you partner with, right? You establish your own identity by partnering with, either creatives that speak your language or other brands in the market that are kind of in that same space.
Interesting.
So you work out of Kiln?
I do, yes.
Yeah, and how big is your team?
There's about 3 of us currently.
Cool. And what is the role Kiln has played as you've built your business?
Well, I'm a mom of 3 little kids. It's a very rambunctious home. It's a very fun space.
Yeah.
And, being here has enabled me to come to another fun space and kind of do my own thing whenever I need. It's the flexibility, it's the creativity, it's the people, community, really.
That's fantastic. Cool. And so what are some of the challenges that you're currently facing as you kind of build your business and build and continue to grow?
Good question. There are hundreds of other e-commerce agencies. So for us, it has been about positioning. How can we really serve the new founders that are green or that are just coming onto the field and don't really know how to bring a product to market? How can we serve them in a unique way? And we've found some very innovative ways to set up our programs where we have commission-only programs, for example, where the brands can start at no obligation and end up, seeing sales and seeing media coverage. And we benefit as they benefit. And that's been a fun program to kind of launch and unload.
That's awesome. Yeah. E-commerce is an interesting area, right? Especially after COVID and e-commerce marketing and thinking about, I think the ad costs are definitely there's a big change with those over the last couple of years,
Yeah.
and help me understand how your business has kind of navigated that a little.
Yeah, great question. That's been something we directly played off of and directly are speaking to our clients about. 5 years ago, you could launch, an ad on almost any social network, and you could see, an immediate 5, 6, 7 times ROI, right? And so one of our programs right now, it's actually more geared towards affiliate marketing, commerce placements in the media, working with influencers on a commission basis, and it lets these little brands scale in a way that they didn't really know was, possible after all of the iOS changes and all that.
Yeah, is that unique? Is that kind of your unique strategy, one of your unique strategies, or do you see that also happening with other companies as well? Are they kind of pivoting to that affiliate marketing? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of companies are pivoting. A lot of agencies are pivoting, and many of them are doing whitelisting or working with creators in another way, right? I think what's unique about us is that we work on a primarily commissions model.
Right.
So the affiliates are commission based, and we are commission based, and so it really lowers that threshold for the brand, and enables them to get in the door of a new marketing channel that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
What's one of that's? I mean, yeah, I love that. What's one of the? Is there a great company or a great brand that you've worked with before that you felt like was really enjoyable and you got a lot out of?
Yeah, there's this new mom and pop brand. It's actually a father-daughter brand, I should say, out of California. And they started a food bar. It's a probiotic protein bar brand called Chibare. The bar has this great texture to it. I can't even explain it to you. It's not like any other bar in the market. It's creamy, and it just has a very different texture. I was immediately drawn to it. They're a great family. They all run it together, both retail and direct to consumer. And it's just been really fun working with them and kind of bringing their vision to life in a way.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
How did you I'm not sure why I'm asking this question, but how did you discover them, or how they discovered you in that example?
Yeah, we're very involved in the community on a weekly basis. We're doing content pieces around, hey, which brands are, really succeeding in the market and getting picked up by multiple retailers, which brands are launching new product lines. And we're sharing about that online on LinkedIn and other platforms. And it's drawn a lot of brands to us. I think they see that we're more engaged in the community. We're not just there to make a sale and earn our retainer, but we're there to be a piece of the community.
Interesting. Is that always been the case? Like community element of it? Is it something you just discovered over time, or?
For us, it is. It's more. It's funner for us when we do it that way. When we're truly there, speaking to clients, forwarding them and referring them to people that can benefit them, and just being an element of the space, in the space, rather than just working with the space, right?
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Just let me just one more question about the community. So it's kind of easy to say, and I've done it several times on these interviews. Just throw in the word community. Like, help me convince me that what you do differently about like the community element. Is it just, oh yeah, I help in the community, or do you? What do you do to really? Tell me how that really works.
Yeah, so we, there's a few things we do. One of them is we've kind of pioneered a weekly publication, you could say, that goes out now to about 30 to 50,000 people every week. It's free press for any brand that is growing in the space, that has an announcement, that has a launch, that has something to share with the world. We've built that out, so now we publish it, and it gets picked up by a number of other e-commerce newsletters and websites, and kind of syndicated that way. And that's been really fun because there's no win for us there. There's no, sure, we get a little bit of reach, but truly it's to help the space and to get the brand seen by buyers and by other people in the industry.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you.
I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question, but so I love your I guess your niche of clients, right? I mean, you talked about a pop and daughter business, and some smaller businesses that are getting started in the e-commerce area. I'm wondering if you could help our audience understand. Maybe there's some listeners out there who might want to get into like a company like yours. They might want to come and work with you, and just help maybe explain and help them understand what it is that they can expect, like when they first start working with you, and what you might do with them, and how you might take it from that first conversation to the results that ultimately they're looking for.
Yeah, this space is a hard space, right? Creating a physical product between manufacturing and ad costs and all of the elements that go into building your own brand, it's a very hard space to be in. So for the people that work with us at our agency, it's really about compassion and having a finger on the pulse of what's happening in the industry, right? You really can't work with clients in this space unless you understand that. And for the clients that come and work with us, understanding that we do have that compassion. We understand that, cash flow can be challenging, and we understand the unique requirements that come with, doing different production runs, right? And how that all plays in. So there's certainly an element of not just being able to play by the book, but really being able to flip the script for each brand you work with.
Yeah, interesting. So for our road trip, just, I don't know. It's interesting because we just got to Meridian, and I'm wondering if you have any recommendations for us, as we're in town, any places to go, anything to eat. I don't know. Yeah. Any recommendations that you can make?
There's a really good Mexican restaurant called Corona Village.
Okay.
I'm from California originally.
Yeah?
From San Diego. San Diego.
Okay, cool.
So we're used to Mexican food, and it's a really good Mexican restaurant.
Thank you.
We'll have to check that out.
That's great.
We got two restaurant recommendations, so I don't know how we're gonna pick.
Let's get a third and we'll go separately so we can have some peace from each other.
Yeah. Have you heard of a place called Barbacoa?
Oh yes.
Is that good?
I haven't been there, but I've heard of it.
Okay. All right.
I've got one last question.
Okay, go ahead.
Before your last question.
I don't have a last question.
You have the big question.
You already asked that question.
I already asked it. Sorry about that.
You went completely out of order.
You're the first. You're the first person we asked that question right at the beginning.
Wait, we usually asked the Kiln question though.
That as well, didn't we?
We asked that one as well. I asked.
We were all over the place here.
This has been a wild one for us. You don't know like how wild it's been. We're completely out of order right now, but I think it's been fun.
We said we would experiment.
We're experimenting
we
a
did
little.
We did some reflection on the road trip. We had, how many hours did you drive?
I think across the entire day, it had to have been like 14 hours, but it wasn't all driving.
Wow.
We
were doing a lot of reflection on maybe over reflection, trying to say, we could shake things up and experiment with what we're doing, and so that's what we're doing. But Pleasantly Rebellious, we've got a gift for you. This Pleasantly Rebellious t-shirt, and I'm just wondering, does that resonate? What does that mean to you, Pleasantly Rebellious? And do you think you're pleasantly rebellious?
Before we get into the rest of the episode, we want to thank the partners and sponsors who made the Kiln Road Trip possible. The Kiln Road Trip is brought to you by Kiln. Kiln is a boutique co-working and flex office community with 13 locations in 6 states across the West, dedicated to providing innovative workspaces that empower your team to thrive. Whether you're a solo visionary or an enterprise-level team of up to 100, Kiln transcends being merely a place to work. It's a hub for learning and connecting with like-minded professionals that will make you and your team love where you work.
And if you haven't stepped foot inside a kiln yet, you really need to. On this road trip, we visited every single location, and trust us when we say once you see these beautifully designed spaces, meet the talented team, and connect with fellow members, you won't want to work anywhere else.
Locations include Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Arizona. And they're growing too, with multiple locations set to open in 2024.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the Kiln locations nearest you by booking a tour at kiln.com and answer Swell in the question, how did you hear about us? Once you complete the tour, you'll be entered into a competition where you could win a 1-year membership, their club membership at Kiln.
Yep, you heard that. That's kiln.com, book a tour, and be sure to mention Swell in the question, how did you hear about us?
The Kiln Road Trip is also brought to you by Moterra Campervans, a luxury campervan rental company for iconic road trips. Their top-of-the-line vans are available at 7 locations located near America's best outdoor adventure destinations. They have consistently earned the highest customer ratings in the industry, making Moterra Campervans your gateway to adventure without sacrificing on comfort or service.
That's true, and initially we wanted to take this journey in a 1960s VW bus, but thankfully we found Moterra instead. With 3 van options, we took the Pop Top Classic, which sleeps 4 and is best for those who want to maximize floor space and storage. This was critical for us because it needed to sleep the entire crew, we needed space to edit, and we were traveling with large amounts of equipment, luggage, and, other goodies that we picked up along the way.
And this van took us through all 3,580 miles of the trip. Super comfortable and sweet to drive.
And actually, Moterra offers fully planned itineraries if you'd rather leave the planning to someone else.
Visit gomoterra.com/swell. That's gomoterra.com/swell.
This episode is also brought to you by Taurus. Taurus is leading the charge in home energy storage. Taurus makes it easy to achieve energy independence and a greener tomorrow. The Taurus station provides everything you need to generate clean power, efficiently store electricity, and easily manage your energy use.
And installing a Taurus station offers plenty of benefits, including save money on your electricity bill,
also ensure energy security with backup power during outages,
reduce carbon emissions with renewables.
You can also automate EV charging and HVAC systems with 100% renewables.
And enjoy unrivaled system monitoring and support.
If you like the sound of those benefits, get a quote to build your Taurus station in less than 30 seconds. Super easy at taurus.co. That's TORUS.co. Now, let's get back to the episode.
I think I am in a way. Only 1% of marketing agencies are female owned. It's a very small percentage. And so I do think in a way, we're rebelling against the common culture of the space. We're rebelling in the way that we serve our clients. So it absolutely resonates.
That's cool.
What's the most pleasant, rebellious thing about you?
Whoa, that's a tough question.
I'm just starting out.
That's a tough question. What's the most pleasantly rebellious thing about you? Real quick, hold on. I'll give you some time to think.
Thank you.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, flipping it. That's a hard question. No. Pleasant, it is a hard one to answer.
You know what? I'll. Can I answer it for you?
For me? Oh my goodness.
I mean, I don't think this is the answer that you would give. I'm just still giving you some time to think.
Thank you.
One of the things that Spencer likes to do, which some people might take it the wrong way, but it's actually really, really good. So sometimes we'll go out to a restaurant and, he wants a good meal, know? And if it's not great, if fries are cold or whatever might be not great about it, he'll go and talk to them about it, and it's all in an effort to provide a better experience. It's all in an effort to provide a better meal. And he's truly trying to help people improve. And people might think about that and be like, oh, like, come on. Like, I'm just trying to do my job here, But he's really trying. It's a pleasantly rebellious thing that not a lot of people do, but you're really trying to help other people improve an experience.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome,
I
sir.
did that. I did try to, and I think I would say the answer to that question is about just willing to experiment with things.
Yeah.
That's probably my most pleasant rebellious
thing.
thing.
That's fine.
Because last night, but in that restaurant though, when McDonald's gave us, I know we like to eat really well and really.
We were at a last minute stop.
We've got a big budget for this road trip. And McDonald's aren't going to sue me. There were pink burgers. We ate a third of pink burgers.
Oh,
I took it to the manager, and he literally, his eyebrow, he went, "Oh, how did that happen?" Anyhow, but I said they were very nice and they were very young, and I just said, "Hey," he says, "What can we do to help?" I said, would you do something that would surprise us and delight us, and like just bring whatever you think would be great for us, like if you were in our shoes?" And that's what they were excited about. And one came with cookies, and another one came with a load of Cokes we didn't necessarily need, and another one came with something else. Anyway, it was really just kind of a nice experience. But yeah,
I like that. I think for us, but for me, really, there's been multiple times where someone has said, who's your competition? And truly, we don't see competition. We see partners. We see potential collaborators. We see, people we can refer out or work on projects with. And I think that sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. But for me, it's there's always enough to go around. And I think that's a little bit rebellious.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Kiln Road Trip. Be sure to follow along on the rest of the journey, and you can do that in 2 ways. 1, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or maybe even watching on YouTube, and follow along on all of our social media platforms, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, @the Swell Pod. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.